Hello, teachers, parents, and educational leaders, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T. Now, during this episode, you will get a peek into the members-only area where I have tons of resources to help you make math fun, make it click, and make it stick. There should be a link somewhere around this video where you can learn more. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it, and let's break down the standard. Welcome to Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, a video series dedicated to breaking down Florida's best standards for math. So grab something to write with and maybe even a snack. This looks good. And don't forget to put a smile on your face. There you go. I see you. And let's dive into today's best standard. Hey everyone. My name is Sarah McCarthy and I am super excited that you are joining me as we break down the following standard. Today's standard is MA.4.GR.1.3 and the standard says to solve real-world and mathematical problems involving unknown whole number angle measures. We will also write equations to represent the unknown. For example, if we have a 60-degree angle and it's decomposed or broken down into two angles, and one of them is 25 degrees, we can find the unknown angle by adding 25 plus the unknown to get that total of 60 degrees. By the way, this document that I'm marking up all over is not something that I created. This is something that the Florida Department of Education provides to the public, and in these episodes, I'm just showing you how I break down the standard in order to create the resources that are strategically aligned to the B.E.S.T standards, okay? So we'll spend about half of the video breaking down the standard, and then we'll pop over to the website and I'll show you the resources that you have that are strategically aligned to the standard, okay? We need to also connect that angles can be additive angles here, which was a component of the standard before. So this is a great connection here. Some related benchmarks. We've got MA.4.GR.1.1. This is multiplying and dividing word problems. So this is it's horizontally aligned because of that real world problem component. We also have MA.4.GR.2.2, creating equations to determine the unknown value, which is a different standard, but we're doing something similar here. We're using what we know about angles to create those equations. I also listed 4.GR.1.1 and 1.2 because they are nice segues into the standard. I'm not sure why they didn't mention it there. Terms that you need to know, we've got angles. That's where two rays that meet at a point or a vertex, and then we're measuring the angle, the space in between the rays. It's important to know that a circle is 360 degrees, a right angle is 90 degrees, and a straight angle is 180 degrees. Our students will need to know those specific degrees to help with this standard. Where are they coming from? Well, in third grade, they had to identify geometric figures, so they should know what a ray is, what an angle is, and all of that. And then they're moving into middle school. They will have some more, and they of course will have some more work with angles moving forward. For purpose and instructional strategies, it says, let me just point out what jumped out at me. It says the purpose of this benchmark is to extend student thinking about angle measures beyond right angles that were taught in third grade, and introducing the idea that angle measures are additive, which we did in the last standard, GR.1.2. Students will then use this idea to find missing angle measures without having to measure using a protractor. Students can solve interesting and challenging problems with all four operations to find the measurements of unknown angles on a diagram in real-world and mathematical problems. Okay, for here I said for common misconceptions, it says that students may make errors when writing equations, and I said yes, and expecting students to justify their equations and solutions. They may not understand that straight lines measure up to 180 degrees, and just for all of that I said yes, those are definitely common mistakes that students make. Here's an example of an instructional task. It says that we have two lines and we're given this angle right there. We have to find the measure of the three other angles. It says that this may seem a bit challenging, but really it does fit within the benchmark because we know that this line right here is 180 degrees. We could say 180, that 122 degrees plus the unknown angle here equals 180, and then you can use subtraction to figure that out. And then if we know that this is 180 degrees, and now we figure out what this angle is, we can figure out what that angle is, and keep going all the way around. So it's definitely in line. And here is another example about additive angles down here, where we have to figure out which ones Carlos can use. This would be like a real world situation where Carlos is adding angles together, and we have to figure out which one of these will create a 150 degree angle when we add them together. Okay, and that's about it for breaking down the standard. So let's move over to the website and see what you have access to with your Taking on the B.E.S.T membership. All right, so here we are on the website. We can click Members Enter here, select Taking on the B.E.S.T, 4th grade. We want the GR strand, so scroll down to Geometric Reasoning, and we are looking at MA.4.GR.1.3, finding the measure of unknown angles. Okay, so there are 2 video lessons in the bronze level here. The bronze level contains your video lessons and printable student guides. The whole intent of these video lessons is to make it fun and to make it click. Of course, students need more practice in order for them to fully comprehend and make it stick, which is why people select the silver or the gold plan, because it gives them access to more. But in these video lessons, the first one, we've got additive angles, real world problems. So you can see here, you just click play, and then we're solving problems that were very similar to that problem in the standard. And then here we have finding the measure of unknown angles. So we've got lines that are being intersected, and using the knowledge of straight lines and right angles to figure out the measure of the unknown angles. So 2 video lessons there. If you have the silver plan, you have access to more. So you click here to get your printables. So the very first thing that pops up is the video lesson guide, the student guide for the video lesson that we just saw. So it says Aubrey is adding angles together to create a 160 degree angle. Select all of the measures that Aubrey can use to create a 160 degree angle. So even though there are only 4 choices, it still is a multi-select problem. Same thing here, and after students practice that one in the video lesson, they can use their notes to solve the problems in this extra practice. You can see it's very similar to what we just did in the video lesson. The next video lesson is finding the measure of unknown angles. So it says here that we need to write an equation like the standard said of angle NQO, which is right here. So if we know that this is a straight line, 180 degrees, then 69 degrees plus the unknown plus 90 degrees equals 180 degrees. And that would be the equation then we would have to solve. So the video lesson breaks all of that down. And then there's extra practice right here. Using what we know about right angles, you've got a piece of it. It's been decomposed into 36. And what unknown measure to get an angle of 90 degrees. All right. Then there is a math mission, which is a math task. It's kind of similar to what we saw in the one on the standard too. Got that Jake draws 2 straight lines, ST and line segment UW, line ST and line UW, which intersects at point L. Using the given angle, find the measure of the 3 unknown angles and classify each as obtuse, acute, obtuse, right, or straight. So not only will they have to figure out the angle measures, but they'll also have to determine, is it acute, obtuse, right, or straight. The last activity is Math Misconception Mystery. This is another video, so go back here. You just click play for Math Misconception Mystery, and I will be your host, guiding your students through the entire process. This is great for whole group because it's wonderful for friendly debates and math discussions. Students will be instructed to solve this problem on their own or in a small group. And then they will watch as 4 characters solve that same problem, 3 of them making a mistake that students commonly make and only 1 of them solving it correctly. The characters in these videos are just me dressed up in silly costumes using silly accents. And then after students watch the video, they will fill out their detective report stating who the most reasonable answer belongs to and why, and evaluating the work of the other 3 characters. So these are super fun. They're a big hit with students. Once you start incorporating Math Misconception Mystery videos into your lessons, you are not going to be able to go back. They will beg you for more. And of course, your answer keys are right there. All right, then we have the gold resources for those who have the gold plan. And with that, you can go back to your bronze video lessons at any time, your silver extra practice pages. But with the gold membership, you get a mini assessment for every standard. So for this standard, we have a variety of questions, as you can see, all aligned to the standard that we have. Okay. You also have an answer key right there with the answers to the question. And you can use this mini assessment as extra practice. If you do not want to use it as a test, that's fine. Use it however you see fit. Gold members have the benefit of having access to these Breaking Down the Best episodes right here with all of the resources ad-free. So that's a nice little perk, but these videos are also available on YouTube. They just contain ads. And really the highlight of the gold plan is McCarthy Math 155. This is a daily math intervention that's aligned to the Common Core standards, the standards that we had before we had the BEST standards. So if you've had some exposure to the Common Core standards and the BEST standards, you know that there are a lot of similarities between the two. There were enough differences for me to create a whole new program, but there's a lot of great practice here to help your students build their confidence muscles. So if we click here, the 155, it stands for 155 video lessons for each grade level. Let's click on 4th grade, and when you scroll down right here to all the way down, you can see some of the units there, but we're going to this angles right there, because we have finding unknown angles as a topic inside of this unit, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, so all these measuring angles go for the last standard that we talked about, 4.GR.1.2, but we're talking about the unknown component, or additive angles, and additive angles weren't really a thing for the Common Core standards. But if you go to day 151, day 152, day 153, you can see that you have even more practice for solving the unknown. Now, it probably won't be an equation that we have to create there, but still figuring out what the measure of the unknown angle is. So there's 3 more bonus videos, 15 practice problems it looks like, with guided instruction to help your students build their confidence muscles, okay? All right, everyone, I think that is it for going over this standard today. I hope that it made sense, and now that you feel comfortable with the standard and that you know what's expected of your students, and also you know what resources you have access to with your membership. Before we go, let me remind you that what you wake up and you choose to do every day with your life, it really does matter. Thank you so much for all that you do for your students, for stepping into your leadership role and inspiring your students to take on the best version of themselves. Also, thank you so much for inviting me into your educational space. I truly love what I get to do, supporting you, supporting your students, and of course, putting time back into your pocket. Speaking of time, I know you're busy, so I will let you get back to whatever it is that you have to get back to, and I'll see you in another episode real soon, okay? Bye! Okay, so I know that I just said goodbye for now, but I'm gonna ask you to do one more thing, okay? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your teacher friends or other leaders in education. That's how I get to continue doing what I love to do, which of course is supporting you all to the best of my ability. All right, for real now, bye!